everyone. This podcast is part of Story Mode, the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. You can support us and gain access to other great exclusive podcasts at patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
My name is David Bell.
I'm Tom Ryman.
And we just watched Tierra.
Also known as Earth.
Yep. Earth. Welcome to Tierra.
Welcome to Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Por cierto, este vino con sabor a tierra debería hacer historia. A mí me encanta.
So, if people are unaware, this is
a 1996 Spanish film.
Yes, this is part of our ongoing thing where we've been doing. We have a special Patreon.
Yeah.
Tier where people can give us movies to watch, and then we just watch about it. This one was brought to you by Martin. Don't know if it's the show. If it's the show that became a human.
If it's Martin Lawrence, if it's Steve Martin, if it's Martin Short.
But it's Martin. And this is...
Martin Freeman, Martin Sheen.
Martin... Is Marty a Martin and Marty McFly?
Yes.
Martin McFly.
Martin McFly. He wanted us to watch this 1996 Spanish language film.
Yeah. So we did. And it's also really hard to find.
It is incredibly difficult to find. It's way older than I realized. Like, I didn't look at the production date, and basically Dave had to get a Blu-ray of this. It's the only way we could watch it. And I'm watching the Blu-ray, and it's really high quality, and like the film looks great, everything looks great. No idea it was 20 years old.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That is one thing I want to talk about. It's a well-made movie. So this is basically one of the most inaccessible podcast.
So like nobody's going to be listening. I think there's going to be 15 of you are actually going to listen to this.
Well, I think no one's going to. If you want to go out and buy the Blu-ray or go to your
Tierra.
Go to your local video store and
it might be
Tierra.
Streaming on some Criterion channel or something.
Maybe it's and maybe in other countries it might be more available.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I guess we'll do our best to like describe the movie as we go to make this a little more accessible to people. I think.
Emphasis on do our best.
Yes. So, Tom, what did you think of this movie?
I enjoyed the majority of it.
Yeah.
It's very typical of most Spanish films that I've seen, and that it's very, like, I don't know if magic realism is the correct term, but
I just call it artsy.
It's very artsy.
Yeah.
It's very, dreamlike. It's a lot of, some people might use the word obtuse. It's just a lot of, there is a straightforward story that's relatively easy to follow, but there's a lot of things that happen where I'm just like, well, that clearly means something.
Right. Yeah, there's stuff like, jumping ahead, the last shows of birds flying, and I was like, there hasn't been birds in this movie until this moment. And stuff like that where it's like it's a straightforward like kind of like romantic drama, and then it has all that shit on top of it,
right?
Which I appreciate because I think like if you're talking about just basic human drama, trying to depict like the internal struggles we all go through is hard.
Yes,
and it's a creative way of doing it. That. It works in this film, I think, for the most part.
Yeah.
This film is about a man who goes into a town to get rid of bugs.
Right. It's in wine country in Spain, and he's going there to spray all the vineyards and groves and shit for woodlouses. Yes. Because woodlouses give wine a strangely earthy flavor that he personally loves.
Right, and a lot of people, nobody seems to mind the bugs. That was the thing. Everybody's just like, yeah, I kind of like it. Like it's
really only the woman whose name is Angela, and his name is Angel.
Yes,
he might be an angel, Like there's
it felt very Angel-esque.
There's two ways to read this film. There's the literal text of it where he is a man who has just gotten out of a mental hospital.
Right.
After we don't know how long his stay was for. It was for having an overactive imagination. Mm-hmm. And he frequently sees his other self, who he calls his angel.
Right.
Acting out things, telling him to do things. He has conversations with himself.
Mm-hmm. He also sees other dead people.
He sees other dead people because he believes that he himself is half dead.
Right.
And if you are reading the film from a literal standpoint, that's just part of his active imagination, and he's imagining he's seeing these dead people, and he's putting words into their mouth based on what he feels they would say. From like I think like a subtext standpoint, he is an angel who has fallen to earth.
Yes.
And this movie is about him sort of becoming more and more human and abandoning the sort of what you're like the biblical good things. I'm doing air quotes.
Yeah. That's, I mean, a big part of this is he's trying to choose between two women. Mm-hmm. It's a love triangle. It's a love square,
right? Because he's in love with this woman Angela, who is the wife of this guy Patricio,
who is just a maniac.
He is a full blown maniac who seems to like run the entire town with his lunacy.
Yes,
like he has a big vineyard, like a big field full of grapes, and he runs his tractor where he listens to dance music.
Yeah, and he sees a kid on a bike and tries to run him down with his tractor. Just, you know,
in fact, that's Mary actually.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, we see in a later flashback that she comes back. Remember, he tells him to get out of the tractor.
Right. Okay.
And that's another recurring thing that the angel, the main character, has this telescope, this electronic telescope he uses to see the woodlice underneath the earth, but he also uses it to watch people. So that's another part of his...
Right.
He is literally removed from society in that he was a guy that was in a mental institution for a long time, but then it's also the angel aspect where he's watching human beings from afar through his telescope. But yeah, so Patricio, he's in love with Patricio's wife, and then he's also in love with Mary, who is this woman that Patricio's screwing around with.
Right.
So Patricio is involved with both women,
and then he's involved with both women. It's it's like a real Wings of Desire situation, but like oddly more complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What I'm trying to, because I watched this movie. You watched this
last night.
Yeah. And I watched it a couple nights ago, so I'm trying to remember everything that happens.
Well, he just kind of goes, like, the movie starts with him driving to the town that he's going to, and he stops because he almost hits a lamb in the street.
Right.
And it's because he meets these, they call them gypsies in the film, but that's not the term.
It's not appropriate.
It's not what you want to...
It's the 90s.
It's 1996.
Yeah.
So it's a big family of workers, and he just hires them to do the fumigation. But there's a guy who's been struck by lightning. There's a shepherd who's been struck by lightning.
And the shepherd briefly comes back alive to have a conversation with him before just dying again.
Yeah, he dies again.
Yeah.
Yes, and that gives you like a little, like, right away I was like, oh, this guy's supernatural.
Yeah, this is all very weird.
Because he's talking to the dying guy is talking to Angel, and at first he recognizes him. Like, he's like, oh yeah, like he seems to recognize him. And then he says Mary sent the lightning, and we don't know who Mary is yet. And he says, like, oh yeah, I saw some people. And then Angel leans in real close and he says, did you see me? And he's like, no, I didn't see you. I don't know you. So it's like the guy like suddenly doesn't remember him anymore.
No, you're right. Yeah, this is a fucking angel.
He's an angel. He's an angel. He has to work, like, he's doing it, like, we see him go visit like the mayor's office 2 times where he's basically proving that he can be out and working on his own. He's like, he's taking over his uncle's business, which has like this, again, the subtext of like he's proving he can be on Earth and be a human, because the guard at the mayor's mansion is like, oh, I remember you. We butted heads before. And he's like, yeah, I used to be wearing all white. And he's like, hey, remember, I'm sorry for we butted heads before. And he brings it up 2 different times. And both times Angel says, well, it was a misunderstanding.
Right.
So it's like, it seems like he was expelled from heaven.
Yeah, I mean,
by this other guy who used to be wearing white, so clearly he's an angel too. Like,
right? It's definitely not literally what is supposed to be happening, right?
No, it's the subtext.
It's the subtext, but it's just like slathered on so much that you can interpret it as just like, oh yeah, it's.
I think you're supposed to be
literally what's going on.
Yeah, I think you're supposed to be thinking about it though, because that's like the first thought that I had watching this film.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he goes to talk to the dying guy's been struck by lightning, I was like, oh, he's like an angel or he's supernatural or something. So I thought the movie was going to be like on its face about that,
right?
Based on that first scene.
And no, it's just an angel who's down to fuck.
He is DTF.
Yeah, he takes that lamb. He grabs a dead lamb, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And he's like, I'll save this for later. I forget why he grabs it.
He takes all of the lambs.
Does he?
Yeah, because remember later you see him, he has all 4 of the lambs set up and he's fumigating them.
Yeah. It's like Red Dead rules where he's just like, free lambs.
Right, like that must be like I chalked that up to, like, I thought it was weird, but the characters don't treat it as weird, so I'm like, oh, maybe this is a cultural thing. Is when he goes to when he first meets Angela, who's the wife of Patricio, she's at home with her dad, who's like depressed,
super depressed,
because his wife died the previous year, and they have a young daughter, and he's like talking to them about like he's going to start fumigating their fields, and he brings them this dead half fried lamb as a gift, and they're not horrified by it. They're like, oh sweet, a lamb.
Yeah, and they're just like, oh, I guess we'll cook this up.
Yeah, we're gonna cook this lamb up.
Which I get. It's just like, yeah, why not?
Yeah, sure, free lamb.
It's like a small town.
Yeah.
It's there's not many resources, so I can see
there's
like
one bar that's like
that's like a Mos Eisley bar.
It has
like
earth walls.
Yeah,
like
it's like in the earth.
I'm sure that's some kind of metaphor too, because the whole movie's called Earth.
Yeah, and so it's a small community where it's like clearly him entering this town is like the biggest thing that's happened to this town in a while,
right?
Because they're all so sick of each other, I'm sure at this point.
Like we said, Patricio runs the whole. Like Patricio is a maniac. He takes them on a hog hunt, and like his hog hunt is just to have a line of like 30 people walk through like a cornfield screaming and firing shotguns, and I'm like, somebody's gonna get shot.
Yeah, and
surprise, somebody gets shot.
Yeah. It's basically the rednecks of Spain.
Yeah. And he's just the craziest one. He's like the guy that he would be like the guy that like owns the auto parts store, I guess. And like he's constantly out like doing donuts on like the mayor's lawn, and nobody can say shit to him because he's basically like the big dude,
things,
the big fish in town. He sets up a trap for the pig, for the
shotgun
boars.
Trap.
The fucking shotgun trap.
Everybody in this town is either fucking or trying to kill each other.
I know. Yes, he has a shotgun trap set up for the boar.
Yeah, it's pointed at the laundry. Mm-hmm. It's pointed at the fucking clothesline.
At Mary's house.
Yeah.
So when he meets, like, Angel goes over there to talk, because the movie starts with, the first part of the movie is like him going door to door, basically being like, hey, I'm going to spray your fields. And he goes to Mary's house, and she's not home, but that's where he meets Alberto, who's the owner of the bar, and Mary's brother.
Yes.
And he's talking to Alberto, who gives him like some of the 411, I guess, on the town. And he's like, could you maybe disable the trap before I start spraying? And he's like, what trap? And he shows him the trap, which is just a shotgun pointed at head level at the laundry. And Alberto's just like, oh yeah, that's funny. I guess, Mary will get a lot of sleep if she trips that trap. It's like they're just so casual about having this maniac set up this gun.
They're also just
pointing at the laundry.
They're just like standing next to it, not worried of where the actual, like where you can step around it or anything.
There is a lot of casual firing of shotguns in this movie.
Yes, there is.
It's like no big deal in this movie.
Well, again, it's like it's the Texas of Spain.
I remember I mentioned there's a shooting in the boar hunting scene. It's a very casual shooting.
Yes. Yeah, it's just like, oh, you shot me. Yeah. And he's like, sorry. You know, it's
right, and it's like,
and then later he kind of confesses that he kind of wanted to shoot him.
Right,
and it was just like, just a casual attempted murder.
Well, when you see him, he's like walking in slow. He's like yelling, and Angel shoots him. For the listeners, and he's just kind of walking and like shooting and yelling, and then he just very casually points the gun to his side and fires.
Oh yeah.
It's like he's just kind of like in the zone, like he's like hammering out an awesome jazz riff on the piano. It just kind of blasts to the side, and Patricio goes down. And then later on, like at the bar, like Alberto's like, oh, it's no big deal. He only had like 2 pellets in his shoulder.
Right.
So casual about ripping into some man with a shotgun.
It's not the first time he's been shot with a shotgun.
No. Nope.
Or anybody has been. Yeah, it's like just seems like this is part of their culture where they're like, yeah, you get shot sometimes.
Well, and then the shooting ends in a shotgun argument.
Right.
Where he's like, I'm going to shoot whoever shot me. And this lady's like, you better not shoot my husband because he definitely didn't shoot you. And he just shoves her down and takes her gun and points the gun at her.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, it wasn't him. It was Angel. Then he shoots his gun at Angel's feet.
Right.
Shotgun argument.
Yeah. Everybody has guns. There's so many guns, too.
Just guns.
It's like the Simpsons episode where Homer gets the gun and he's just using it to shut off the TV and stuff. Like, that's what it feels like. They're just lousy with shotguns. That bar, maybe it was that bar scene. Is that where... That's not when he first meets... who is it, Mary?
Yes. I think that's where he first...
Where she's
Well, no, he met her... No, he meets her... We see in a flashback that he actually met her in the beginning on the road.
Right.
But we get that flashback in the scene where he starts fumigating.
Okay, yeah.
He has his team of people that he hired.
Right, and this is the other lady who at one point is just going to town at that bar. Like, she's just...
Right, she is just dry humping a ghost.
Yeah, she's just got flares out, just signaling him.
Yeah.
At first I was like, is she fucking someone in this bar?
Nope.
And it was like, no, she's just quote unquote dancing. Like, she's just...
She is really, really trying to make her intentions clear.
Very direct message to this guy.
Also, his job as a fumigator requires him to dress up as a spaceman.
Yes.
And you can't be around him when he's spraying it, so that's like further text.
Oh, yeah.
Into him being removed and him being this visitor.
That's true.
It's like he's literally a visitor on another planet.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah. He also, so he's hitting on her. He also, oh, shit. He gets, doesn't he, the other lady, the wife of the maniac,
Angela.
He gets her number by just asking the husband for the number, and then at the bar just immediately calls her. Which I thought was a hell of a move.
That's a real flex.
Yeah. Just like, hey, can I get your number? Takes the number. It's like, I got to go make a phone call, and just immediately calls his wife to hit on her. Mm-hmm. That was a hell of a thing.
He's throwing it down, man.
Yeah. Again, like, he's new in town, so all the ladies are just like, you know, fresh meat. Mm-hmm. We're all fucking tired of fucking each other.
And he's like Adrian Brody, Javier Bardem, like, adjacent. So he's a big deal strolling into this small town.
Oh, yeah. Why'd they hang the lamb up?
She said to soften it up a little bit, I guess, because it was in like rictus, like it was a statue because I got struck by lightning. So they hang it outside, in a noose.
In a noose. That's why I brought it up, because it feels like that was the writer. Just like, I need a natural noose.
Mm-hmm. I need a noose to just organically be there.
Yeah.
The writer is the director, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So they cook the lamb. I'm sure this means something. Everybody gets sick from eating the lamb except for Patricio.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's like, they're all eating the lamb, and they're all like, it tastes a little funny. You can taste the lightning in it.
Right.
And then Patricio comes in and starts, he's like, they're like, yeah, this lamb kind of tastes funny. He's like, what are you talking about? And he starts slamming it, and he's like, this tastes great. And then we get like a voiceover from Angel's like, yeah, everybody got real sick off that lamb.
Is that like foreshadowing what happens to him later?
No, necessarily. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think like the fact that it's a lamb and he's supposed to be an angelic figure coming to Earth, and it's like an offering he's giving. I don't know exactly what that means, unless it's like divinity is incompatible with like human life on Earth. Because the movie is like, as the movie progresses, he kind of becomes kind of more shitty.
Our lead, yeah. I didn't like him. I started to like him less and less. And that's what you pointing out, that this is a angel straying off the path. It actually makes more sense.
Right.
Because by the end, I was like, what the fuck is going on?
He picks the wrong one.
Yeah.
His angel starts to become pale and looking like he's dying.
Yeah, and real rapey.
Yeah, a little.
Or a lot. Well, he gropes a woman.
Yeah.
He angelically gropes a lady, which I know is like supposed to be his imagination.
Yeah.
But if it's a literal angel, then I'm just like, dude, stop.
Yeah, like, reel him in, please.
Yeah.
Reel him in.
Handle your angel. And he's like, I'm going to stay with her forever. And it's like...
His angel says, I'm going to stay with her forever, yeah.
Yeah. Because that's the one that the angel wants.
Right, because she's a despondent single mom with a shitty husband who abuses her. And it's like, the quote-unquote biblical right would be to, well, you should move in with... I mean, you should choose the Angela because that completes the family.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why I see why the idea that he doesn't choose her at the end. He does tell her about his angel or whatever.
He does, and she's still on board.
Yeah, exactly.
That.
Which again, if that happens, fucking stay with her.
Right, because he doesn't tell Mary about any of that shit.
And if he does, she's probably going to quietly leave in the night, as one should.
Yeah, he tells Angela that he intentionally shot Patricio and that he has an invisible astral projection version of himself that tells him to do things in the same conversation.
Yeah, and does he tell her that it's going to follow her from there on?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Well, he doesn't tell her that. He doesn't tell her that it's going to follow her indefinitely. He just tells her that I see him whenever I see you because he's attached himself. He's in love.
That's haunting.
He tells her that his angel is in love with her.
Yeah, that's a haunting thing to tell somebody.
Yes.
Because
after these reveals, she is still down.
She's just like, well, my husband just died. It's a small town.
Mm-hmm. You seem mostly
like
okay. Yeah, you look kind of like a Javier Bardem's younger brother.
Yeah. Patricio gets struck by lightning.
He sure does.
He gets super struck by lightning.
He gets hella struck by lightning.
Yeah, and then
I am certain this means something. Yeah. I mean, it's divine justice, right?
Yeah, they set up the lightning too. Narratively speaking, they set up the lightning beforehand. Yeah, it is. It's he's a wicked man, and he was just struck down in a field. Both times lightning strikes, it's clear out. There's no cloud in the sky.
Yeah.
So it does feel like a divine intervention. Like yeah. And then and then they haul him on a chain on a
that
crane.
Was so fucking funny.
Yeah.
They had to cut him out of the tractor with an angle grinder.
Yeah. That was pretty great.
Yeah, that was an awesome scene.
And then he sees his ghost. And his ghost is like real chill. I like that his ghost is just like, I'm chill now.
He doesn't remember his life.
Oh, right.
Like he barely remembers. He's like, yeah, I kind of remember didn't want to do something. I don't remember what it was. Like he can't quite remember what it was that he's... There's this... Angel launches into several just broadly metaphysical tirades that are insane. And one of them is he tells Angela's grieving father that like his wife is now like, oh well, she now that she no longer exists, she's had to go all the way to the beginning of the universe. She's super far away. So what you need to do is just like concentrate on crossing that distance.
Oh yeah.
And like he talks about like infinitesimal probabilities.
Yeah, he's like a college kid out of a philosophy
He's a maniac.
Class. Yeah. Yeah, because his small talk is shit like this.
Right, yeah, his small talk is shit about like...
Is he the reason the old guy hangs himself? Yeah, that's... By the way, the old guy tries to hang himself as well, where the lamb was, but he gets saved.
Yeah, he comes in and saves him. He cuts him down with a knife.
Right. And then he starts talking about the universe at him, I believe.
Yes.
It's like immediately.
Right.
And if I was an old guy, I'd just like casually get back up on a stump and
right, like
put the noose around.
Like he doesn't know how to comfort him.
No.
So
he's talking like maybe an angel would talk. Like this is the small talk of an angelic being.
Yeah, like I see like the full breadth of the universe at all times. So like don't worry because your life doesn't matter.
Right.
Like that's essentially what he tells him after this guy tries to hang himself.
It's basically his version of talking about like work emails he got.
Yeah.
He's like this is just his gig. This is what he does. Let's see. So after the guy dies, he tells him that he's haunting her.
There's some great moments while Patricio is still alive though.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that is true.
Like Patricio
I mean, he tries to fight him, right?
He tries to fight him a few times. He shoots at him a few times.
Yeah.
Once he figures out that he gets pissed at him initially for looking at Mary.
Right.
Mary is very pointedly named Mary, by the way.
Yeah.
As she is tempting this angel from the quote-unquote divine path. So I think he like tries to fight him. He's already pissed at him for shooting him.
Right.
And then he tries to fight him for looking at Mary. Then when he comes into the house, it's after the father hangs himself, he hugs Angela to comfort her because she's crying.
Right.
And then almost kisses her. And then Patricio comes home and he's like, this guy is not allowed in our house.
Yeah, he's finally caught on. He's just like, all right.
And he body slams Angel out of the house. he grabs him by the belt and like Ultimate Warrior power slams him out the front door.
He's kind of the hero of the movie.
Kind of amazing.
Yeah, because he's just like having a great life, doing
listen to his
donuts
dance music.
Trying to hit people. And then some weird angel shows up and starts talking about all this philosophical crap, and he's just like, "Stop fucking trying to bone my wife."
Yeah, being a weird bummer and trying to bone his wife immediately.
Body slam you.
Throws him the fuck out.
Yep. Yeah, that was pretty excellent.
And then gets struck by lightning.
What a
hero.
Yep.
What a life.
What a life. He lived more than I will ever live in just like a span of a month of this movie.
Maybe like 72 hours even.
Yeah. Dying by struck by lightning, that alone is an accomplishment.
Getting struck by lightning so hard that you are one with your tractor.
Yeah. Like you could live your whole life, work a decent job, get honored at your job, retire, have kids that have grandkids, but if you don't get struck by lightning, then it doesn't
matter.
It doesn't compare.
If you don't have to get carved out of your tractor, and then dragged out by your neck with a fucking chain wrapped around you,
then you haven't really lived.
What are you doing with your life?
Yeah. What are you doing? What a weird character.
He's a fascinating, he's a maniac that runs the entire town.
This movie really needed it, though, too, because it's a very artsy film. It's a drama.
Yeah.
I was scared we wouldn't have much to talk about for that reason, and he kind of rescues the film by just being, he's like the Joker of the movie. Just running around like, ha!
Right. He's just a howling locomotive.
Yeah.
He's plowing through this film.
It's like the actor was just like, hey, I'm going to do a thing. Just roll with it.
I'm going to be, everybody here is at a 6. I'm going to be at a 14.
Yeah. He is the Nicolas Cage of this movie.
He does cage it up quite a bit, yeah. So like after
they have, all right, his ghost is a creep. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have a real long sex scene.
Right, that like bleeds into another sex scene.
Yeah.
So what happens is Angel and Angela are free to love, but Angel just can't shake that Mary.
Right.
So he meets up with Angela at the bar. They talk. She lets him know that she's still interested, even though he spat out that gibberish to her about his angel and about shooting her dead husband.
I would say like... So I was going to say the women in this movie are treated with little agency for like the way they react to things, but I would argue that everybody is. Like everybody is just sort of doing things and they don't feel like they're in control of themselves at all.
Angel doesn't.
No,
he's not in control of anything.
Like this could also be the story of a man who is spraying a town with hallucinogenic chemicals.
Yes, it definitely could be.
It could just be that because no one seems in control of what they do at any point.
No. Things just happen.
Yeah.
So he goes back to Mary's house. They sort of have sex. They have a weird version of sex where they don't touch each other.
Right.
It's bizarre.
It is.
And it's very long.
Yes. It lasts too long.
It lasts for like 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah, this movie is over 2 hours long, like an hour, 2 hours and 7 minutes or something, and I think that's the sex scene.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the sex scene pushed it over the 2-hour mark.
Yeah.
And then the next morning, he wakes up and goes out and discovers that because Mary and Alberto are brother and sister. They live in the same house. That Angela has gone home with Alberto.
Well, he goes to the shower and thinks Mary's in the shower.
Yeah,
and he's like, "I'm going to get in on this." And then we see his dick, which
we totally see.
It's a real Gone Girl moment. And then he gets in the shower, and she turns around, and he's like, "What?"
Yeah, it's Angela.
It's Angela, and they fuck anyway.
They super fuck.
Yeah. Everybody's just fucking and
Yep.
fighting.
Yep. They come out. They have an awkward breakfast.
Yeah. The only person who seems okay with it is the brother, who's just like, "This is fucked up."
Yeah, that's weird.
How's
right?
everybody doing?
Damn.
Did you guys just fuck in the shower? Because I'm pretty sure you guys just fucked.
Well, because they have a
shower.
moment, like Angel steps in the shower, and then Alberto comes in the room. He's like, "Hey, I'm gonna hop in," and Angel's very quickly like, "No, don't come in." And like Angel looks out of the shower, and they make eye contact, and Alberto's like, "Oh, I see what's happening here."
Yeah. And then he just makes breakfast.
Yeah, he goes out and makes breakfast.
Yeah, I mean, good on him. He's just like he's the bartender.
Yeah.
He's dealt with so much shit.
He's used to this shit.
Like, yeah, all right.
Yeah, whatever. Hey, man, we're all just living. We're all just people, man, on this crazy spaceship called Earth. We're all just passengers. That's the energy I got from Alberto.
Yeah, for sure. He's a real cool dude.
Yeah, so they have an awkward breakfast.
Sorry, he's the guy if you need weed.
Oh, dude, he is the hookup.
He's the weed guy
in that town.
Yeah, yeah.
They have an awkward breakfast. He
bounces.
Yeah.
He's just like, well, the damage is done.
Yep, I'm going to get out of here.
Yep.
I think Angela stands up first and is like, can somebody give me a ride home?
Right.
And Mary straight up tells her to fuck off.
Right, yeah.
And then there's like a stare. There's Angel and Alberto play chicken to see who's gonna break first and give her the ride home.
Right.
And Angel does. And they have a ride home, and he basically tells her, "I can't stay here with you. I gotta go. I gotta keep moving on.
Yeah.
I'm a rambling man."
Yeah. Which made him like even more of a douche, because I do get one instinct of like, I gotta get the fuck out of this town. Yeah. I've done a lot of things, but he basically just like causes so much fucking turmoil, and then he's like, well, take it easy, everyone.
Right, and his reasoning is, I can't stay here because I would love you forever and never leave.
Right. And if someone said that, I just met them, I would probably be like, yeah, it's best that you
should probably get out of here.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at it as the subtext of an angel who has fallen to earth and has accepted being a human, he doesn't want to stay in one place.
Yes.
He wants to go out and see everything.
Yeah, sure.
So it kind of, he's still a dick.
Yeah.
But he's got to go at least see the ocean, which he does.
Or like Atlantic City. Like, there's places to be.
Go see a movie.
Yeah.
Go to Disneyland, bro.
Yeah.
Go see some whales.
Oh yeah.
See them whales. You don't got whales in heaven.
What if he's just there for the whale? So he's like, look, it's all whale based up there.
It's
God's a whale. We're all whales.
We all speak whale.
Yeah.
You got to learn how to read whale. They have a written language. Yeah. I bet you didn't know that.
So I'm going to go fuck some whales.
It's all written on kelp.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I gotta go throw some in some whales.
We forgot a subplot. There's a subplot of
the family steals the money.
Yeah, well, doesn't steal. That makes him a real dick, because he loses his wallet and assumes it's the people working for him, and he's like,
understandably, like he goes to his car and it's full of these shitty kids just sitting in his car.
So he assumes one of them.
And as soon as he gets out of the car, he looks in his briefcase and his wallet's gone. So he goes up to the dad, who's basically the head of this working
I think I
community.
missed that part. So I was just like, well, this guy's a racist.
Oh no.
Like,
it was because they were in his car.
No, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. He didn't. All right.
And he goes to the dad and he's like, look, I can't pay you today because the money got stolen. And he looks very pointedly at the oldest son. And at first, like, the dad's kind of with him. He's like, oh, you might want to give that money back. And like the kid's real insistent that he didn't do it, but he's also a shitty kid. So you're like, he stole the fucking money.
Right, yeah.
So the workers abandon him.
Yeah, and he has to spray by himself.
He's got to spray by himself.
Is that when he gets shot at?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's when he's wearing his spacesuit and
he's got his little spaceman stand up.
Yeah.
I love that he has
and fucking Patricio shoots at it. It looks very Fallout. His sign looks very Fallout.
Yeah. It also looks very modern. Again, I was like, there was a lot of stuff in this movie where I knew it was from the 90s, but it was like, this could have been made in the 2000s.
The picture transfer was so clear that I was legitimately like I would almost say shocked that it was as old as it was.
Right, yeah.
Because it looks like it was made this year.
Yeah, and it's, well, like, stuff like when the first shots of the going through the clouds onto the Earth, like, it looks good.
Yeah, it looks fine.
Yeah.
So after he drops Angela off, he's like, it's when he's driving her home, she finds his wallet underneath the passenger seat.
Right.
And he's like, well, fuck me. So
I was glad because at first I thought, like, are you going to leave town without fucking apologizing? And then he goes and
No, I was pretty sure he was going to do it. He goes to the kid to give him the money and be like, oh, I'm sorry, I was wrong. I lost the wallet.
Yeah.
Here's the money. Kid,
and the wallet.
Yeah. Kid nails him with a big-ass rock.
Oh, yeah. Oh, right. I totally forgot.
Right.
He gets slammed in the head with a rock.
You forgot the fact that he probably dies?
Yes, because he falls on the ground. I really appreciated this, by the way, because in a comedy, someone gets a rock on their head. They're like, "Oh, what the hell?" And then the scene ends. Mm-hmm. And this, he gets hit with a rock, and it's a real problem.
Yeah,
it's like, "Oh, I need help!" Falling on the ground.
He keeps talking, bleeding. And like his head is slowly bleeding a whole lot. And then he yeah, you're right. It very quickly becomes a serious problem.
Yeah.
And then he passes out. He seems to die and then wakes up in a hospital. His uncle's there. We haven't seen his uncle before.
Right.
We know he's been working his uncle's company, but like it seems to like he was on like a work release program. You remember he keeps checking in with the mayor who's like, well, it seems like you're fit to work around. So the implication is that his uncle is not around anymore.
Right.
So the fact that he wakes up in a white room and his uncle is attending him also dressed in white.
Is his uncle supposed to be like Jesus?
I think his uncle's just dead.
Okay.
And then he says, a pretty woman was here taking care of you. And he's like, which woman?
Right.
And he says, oh, you've been getting around. And then Angel says, so did she have blonde hair or red hair? And his uncle says, which one do you want?
Yeah.
And Angel doesn't respond. And then Mary walks in.
Yeah, which I thought was a good way of the idea of choosing, like, if you are in a love triangle and you can't decide, the idea of who's the one visiting me in the hospital and who do I want it to be is a nice little like way for him to do that. But it becomes Mary, and you're sort of like, really, Mary?
Yeah. Nobody wanted that ending.
No.
So then he goes.
I mean, there was nothing wrong with Mary. It was just like they didn't really, they seemed a little more like toxic.
Yeah, all of Mary's relationships seemed pretty toxic.
Yeah. And like and it made narrative sense that like the woman, the widow with the child that he's had a relationship with, who his angel wants, but it's clear like he's fighting with his angel. So there's,
so they drive off to the coast. He gets word from his angel that it's like, well, you're not going to be seeing me again because I had to stay with Mary.
Yeah,
I mean, not with Mary. I had to stay with Angela.
Right. So
I'm gonna just be here forever. And then we see the birds.
Yeah.
So I think that means that the death imagery either means that he literally died, or that was him and his angelic half or his divine half, like finally separating.
Right.
And he's like, I'm just full on human now. So I think that's why we see birds at the end.
Like he's free.
He's like free, and also like. Or maybe he is dead. I don't know.
Or it's like angels flying around.
That's Yeah.
Either one. I mean, I do think it is more that of just him splitting from his more angelic side, literally, and then figuratively, it's just about a conflicted person who maybe
doesn't make the quote unquote wholesome choice.
Yeah. Which is, it again
doesn't make what's probably I don't know. It's
weird because neither of these women are bad.
There's nothing
people.
wrong with either of them.
No, and I think that was done on purpose.
Right? They're occupying traditional positions of like Angela's in the position of the traditionally good woman, and Mary's in the position of the traditionally like bad woman. Right. But they're both good people. Like there's nothing wrong with them.
Yeah.
So I think that was, like you said, that's definitely intentional. 'Cause it's like, well. If you strip away like the traditional labels of it, this is just what it is to be a human being.
Right.
Like,
you could also argue that that part of his angel being real pervy is meant to be real pervy, and the idea of like holding this woman up to a pedestal while also just highly sexualizing her.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh yeah, this is the moral thing to do, but it's not really. It's just he's just thinking with his dick, like
right. And she's also the one that he has sex with,
right.
And Mary, they have like a sexual encounter, but it's like weirdly chaste,
right?
Like
yeah, it's real awkward.
Very strange.
Yeah.
So that's this goddamn movie.
Yeah, it's a movie. I would say, geez, if you see this, if you're at like a one of them libraries, and you see this movie, pick it up.
If you're at one of them book restaurants,
yeah. Do that.
Yeah,
it's
do
a
that
good
shit.
movie. It's an older movie.
Yeah, if you're into like,
but it still checks out.
Pretty artsy stuff. This is a very artsy movie.
Yeah.
It does grab you.
Yeah, it does grab you. It's a good movie. Like, it's not artsy in a boring way. It's entertainment, you know? And that's pretty important. It reminds me of, there was a great fucking indie video store where I lived in Massachusetts, and they were like insufferably indie.
Yeah.
But if you went in, like, they had their first floor, which was like kind of the latest stuff, but still so fucking indie.
Yeah.
But you go downstairs and they had a cult section, and they had rows and rows, like a giant room of foreign films. And me and a friend would go down there and we just go through and grab fucking any foreign film, and it was like a great exercise. Do that once or twice a week. Watch a new film that you've never seen before that's from a random country.
Yeah.
That's like small enough that you'd never see it in theaters.
Yeah.
That's what this reminds me of. It's just like, it brings me back to that, where it's like, this is a really good fucking movie that I wouldn't have normally seen.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. We had a video store like that back at home. The Narrow Video.
Nice.
If anybody's listening. I think they just ran a successful Kickstarter or GoFundMe to keep it open.
Good.
Yeah.
Ours did not.
That's
Ours
a bummer.
Is gone. Yeah.
Well, there's a theater attached to it too. There's a Narrow Theater that shows
Ours did too.
indie movies. Oh fuck,
Pleasant
man.
Street Theater and Pleasant Street Video. They donated their videos to the local library, so
that's
good.
dope. Yeah,
because they had some really fucking like weird, obscure
obscure shit. It's hard. Some out of print stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the collections that some of these video stores have. It's a real bummer when they close.
Yeah, it really is.
Anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
that's Tierra.
That's Tierra, guys. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, and if you want to get in on this action,
if you want to get us to cover a really obscure movie from another country,
you can head on over to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. There is a tier there where you can get your very own We Just Watched episode of whatever the hell you want.
That's true.
We'll watch the fucking Langoliers. I don't care.
Oh, I'll do that for free. I'll do that in my own time.
I want to see Bronson Pinchot get eaten by bootleg beholders.
Yeah, big old meatballs with
big
teeth.
Old mad balls.
Yep. Good times.
Solid. Solid Bronson Pinchot. Really, it's the filmography of Bronson Pinchot is going to be a tier that we're going to add, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. What is that? What is the tier? Just if you give us this money, you have like the right to enjoy.
Yeah, like if you give us, if you decide to patron that tier, we will track Bronson Pinchot down wherever he is and force him to watch every one of his films with us.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
Not all of Perfect Strangers. That's a separate tier.
Yeah, no, that's unreasonable.
That's a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Bronson has that kind of time.
Oh, he does.
Bronson has that kind of time.
Yeah. All right.
We also got a store, tpublic.com/store/gamefullyunemployed.
Oh, yeah, we have new shirts.
We do have new shirts.
We have at least one new shirt right now. It's Trash Bullock.
Trash Bullock.
Our exclusive podcast, Tom and Jeff Watch Batman. Yeah, it's great. It's
a solid
design by Justin Brown.
Yeah.
Beautiful design. You check it out.
Does a lot of our logos. Yeah. Yeah. We got some more designs coming down the pike, so do that stuff.
Yeah.
And if you got a quick moment, just go ahead and leave us a review there on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening to this.
Mm-hmm.
It helps us out.
Yeah.
In some way.
In a lot of ways, I think.
Yeah.
It's nice to read. It
is. You know what? It is affirming. It's life affirming.
It is life affirming. It's not as life affirming getting struck by lightning.
I was just about to say. It's not getting fused to my tractor by a bolt of lightning.
Right. Yeah, if you got time, hit us with lightning.
It's on that spectrum.
Yes.
It's there.